Alright guys, alright. So a lot of the stuff that I've been dealing with lately when it comes to news and politics is obviously in person. Talking to people, real life people, in real world situations, and just having chats to people. I find it's a lot better because you don't have to deal with the censorship, which is actually surprisingly what this story is mostly about. So I want to go through, I'm going to start making videos again. I'm going to put them up on Rumble though, as well as YouTube. And please do go follow me on Rumble, link in the description below. I'm going to start building the platform on Rumble because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on YouTube. Basically, Steven Crowder is not wrong. In fact, I have been warning people about the fact that the Daily Wire is establishment. This is what this contract was all about. It's about them controlling Steven Crowder. The $50 million that he got offered, yes, it's good money, but I guarantee you, within that 4-year period, that $50 million would have dwindled. They would have gone through, he would have said something to go through and get suppressed on YouTube or get cancel culture going after him or something. That $50 million most likely would not have been paid to him. In fact, by the end of it, I imagine he probably would have got close to 20 or 30. And to be honest, he has to run a studio with 25 people. I also find it very interesting that the narrative has shifted from the Daily Wire scope from you recorded a friend before to all about like, oh, this is how the contracts are all done and all this sort of stuff. They're literally shifting the argument mid-conversation. And not to mention that, but also the personal attacks from Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and whatnot, who have gone on about how you betrayed a friend. For a start, if you are a friend and you give me this contract, I'm going to think we're not friends anymore. This is not how friends deal with stuff. Even by Daily Wire's own admission, this was a lowball. You don't lowball your friends for a start. You go through and you go and give them a really good deal because they're your friends. That's the idea of friendship. I got a mate who's a friend, right? Every time we talk about shit, I'll be like, hey, let's go out for dinner. I'll buy. Because he's a friend and that's the stuff that we do. We go through and we shout each other stuff. That's what friends do. They don't lowball numbers to each other. So for a start, that whole, but friends kind of seems a little disingenuous. But here's what people need to realise. Daily Wire is funded by billionaires. Okay? That's how they initially got their funding, was from billionaires. They literally had anti-Trump statements and everything like that at the start. They are establishment. I am more surprised that Steven Crowder hasn't worked that out yet. And that's probably more on him. Think about it. Ben Shapiro, anti-Trump. Ben Shapiro, pro-vaccine when it first came out. Ben Shapiro, pro-mask when it first came out. Who are the people that have been defending the Daily Wire lately? Reuters and Young Turks and the left. The left is literally advocating for the Daily Wire. That in itself should ring alarm bells. It's like with DeSantis and Trump, when they kept going on about DeSantis being president and how he was presidential. Who were the people pushing it? The establishment. If anything, the Daily Wire being backed up by these establishment shills makes me more nervous than I already would have been. So at the end of the day, yeah, Crowder isn't wrong here. And I'm sorry, but the whole, oh, we don't record people. Really? How many times have we advocated for Project Veritas? And I'm sorry, but if you're in a business negotiation with someone, and that's what this was, yes, you are going to do things to protect yourself. Because if he had to come out later and said, you said this on a conversation on the phone, and they, no, he didn't, prove it. Okay, here's the recording. Now, obviously, with contracts, unless it's in the contract, it doesn't mean stuff. This is where it's a little bit interesting that Mike Dice is sort of squinting and reading between the lines when it comes to the contract. Sorry, no, to quote Barnes, if it's not in the contract, it ain't on, buddy. It's like the good old condom. If it ain't on you, Johnson, it ain't on. And it's the same with contracts. If it ain't in that contract, it doesn't mean anything. All the verbal contracts and the handshakes in the world don't mean shit until it's written on the paper. Unless it's written in pen and paper on ink, that's when it matters. And like I said, how many times have we advocated for Project Veritas? Crowder was smart. Crowder went through and protected himself. And the fact that we're seeing the Daily Wire all come out in united voice going on about how bad Stephen Crowder is for doing this. Kind of makes you wonder, right? Kind of makes you wonder if they've actually got a free voice over at the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro pushed the vaccines as well as masks. Was that something that came from Jeremy Boring? Did Jeremy Boring say to Ben Shapiro, hey, we want to push the pro-vax, our backers, our investors, they want you to go through and they want you to push the vaccine. What if Andrew Clavin comes out and doesn't want to push it? Is he still going to have a contract? Is he still going to have a show? Does he have that option even? You know, they go on about the fact that these deals, when it comes to like if you get suppressed or if you get cancel culture or whatever, you lose percentage. They said that these were in every contract. These conditions, right? They said that they're non-negotiable and they're in every contract. So it makes you wonder, does Candace Owens have these in a contract as well? What about Andrew Clavin or any of the other guys? Did they all have these in their contracts as well? Now, they can sit there and go, no, I don't have it. Okay, well, show us your contract. And that's what everybody should be wondering. People shouldn't be worrying about, oh my God, is it so bad to record someone? No, you should be worrying about your conservative people that you listen to, and you should be wondering if they've been silenced or if they've been muzzled. And that's very much what this was all about. This is all about muzzling Stephen Crowder. The guy can't even sell a Figs for Socialism shirt, right? Without cancel culture coming after him. Imagine if he had signed this deal where if you added it all up, it was 110%. He would have had to pay back money to them. And it would encourage cancel culture to go after people like Candace Owens or go after people like Stephen Crowder. This is why I'm independent. I have no major corporations behind me. And yeah, my job would be so much easier if I did. But it makes you wonder, how much of your voice do you have to lose to get a contract? And that's what people should be wondering. People should be sitting there wondering how many of these conservatives like Candace Owens or Brett Clavin or whoever it may be, how many of these, Brett Cooper's the new one, how many of these guys have got to go through and actually have been signed up to these sort of contracts with these sort of conditions that apparently, according to Jeremy Boring, are standard contracts. That standard contract really does say it all, doesn't it? I'm not surprised that Stephen Crowder recorded it. I'm not surprised that Stephen Crowder is disappointed. I would be too. They're supposedly friends, and they literally gave you a contract that was equivalent to the middle finger. Like I said, no friend of mine would ever do that. Or if they did, sure as shit wouldn't be calling them a friend. But guys, like I said, Daily Wire, paid for by billionaires, anti-Trump, pro-vaccine, pro-mask, pro-war. Come on, they're establishment. I'm not surprised. Yeah, Look, they've done some amazing things. Well, you know, like what's a woman or whatever it is, right? That documentary they put out, fantastic. Haven't seen it, heard it, it's great. When it comes to cancel culture and then all the sort of stuff that's like the Overton window, then yeah, they're great. When it comes to things like pro-abortion and stuff like that, yeah, they're going to be on your side. I'm not saying everything they've done is bad. But let's not forget, it's a sheep and wolves clothing. Right? It's still establishment. They're just establishment that lean right. That's the big difference. Yeah, they're sheep in wolf and sheep's clothing. And sometimes that wolf is great for rounding up other sheep. But don't forget, sometimes that wolf is still there. That's still a wolf in the sheep's clothing. And that's what we need to be wary of. We need to be wary when we go through and we watch people like these big corporations. The Young Turks, the Daily Wires. How did you get all your money when you first started? Yeah, you got it from billionaires. So, like I said, I'm on Crowder's side on this. Not saying I don't like the Daily Wire. Like I said, they hit some home runs. But when it comes to things that are establishment driven, war and all this sort of stuff, guess what? I'm not going to take a bar of what they say. Because sheep, wolves, clothing, wolf and sheep's clothing, yeah. Because let me know your thoughts over in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, like I said, I'm very much on Crowder's side on this. Yeah. I'm not surprised he did what he did, and look, I wish him the best, and just remember, Crowder, just stay independent, bro. You'll be fine. Apart from that, guys, have a great night, enjoy yourself, and or Stephen, if you do watch this video for some reason, maybe talk to Rumble. Have a great night, enjoy, everybody.